Hi guys, Nicole here, and I am back with a layout share. I apologize, it got cut off from my last video, so I just uploaded that so you could see my leftovers from this kit. This is kit number 2 from my Project Use Your Stash kit series I have going on. So if you want to see it from the beginning, just look at all the ones that say kit number 2, from the creation of the kit to the process I worked with to use the kit, and now these are the layouts I made from it. I think it's 22 layouts, 3 filled page protectors. So I'm going to get going so I don't take up a ton of time. I had a lot of fun with this collection of papers and products, and told some really good stories. So that's always a win, right? I'm going to actually do this so it's up a little higher. Hopefully it's not too distracting there. So I'm just going to go through them and talk a little bit about the layouts. We did a lot of these I did during my weekend crop with my best friend, and we did a variety of different classes and sketches, and I know we did some Chamel videos, so I'm not going to remember a lot of them. I know we did some of the sketch class from Tracy Claiborne and Jen Scow, and that is a great class. I love all the layouts I did from that class. I think I got through maybe the first 7, but tons of content in that class. I definitely suggest it. It's a great class. So anyway, I'm just going to start going through. This is a layout I made of my daughter, and just was a really beautiful picture that my sister-in-law took of her, and I just wanted to write her a message, and this Be Yourself sticker from the Glitz sticker sheet was perfect. Used one of the wood veneer cards there, and just a lot of the stickers and some of the border stickers, and I made them into banners and arrows, and some of the Heidi Swap stickers. I really like the multiple small layers underneath the photo. That's definitely something that fits my style, so I did that in a lot of these. I just love how that looks, so that was fun. And just a lot of the arrows just kind of pointing down and towards her, and there's that one. This is an 8.5 by 11, and this was fun, just using a lot of scraps. And then this was that Daisy D's rub-on. It was just one big rub-on in a package by itself. And this is probably a good 10 years old, and it rubbed off 100% beautifully. Like, I was amazed. I was sure that there was no way that rub-on was going to work. But I have rub-ons I bought like 6 months ago that don't work anymore. So those were really well-made rub-ons. I was really impressed with that, and that was fun to get used. And so I just pulled in some black elements down here to help balance that out a little bit. But just a fun photo of my kiddos when they were littler, Heidi Swap tag, just a bunch of the different stickers, and this cork bow, and some of the craft elements I had in the kit mixed in there. And then there's this one. This one I used up another sticker sheet. So I had these old scrapbooking themed sticker sheets from, I think, Karen Foster, and they had that more distressed kind of vintage look. And so that was, I worked those in with, this had that similar feel to it. And then the doilies kind of helped bring that more distressed kind of feel to it, as far as like the brown color. But then I added in some of the brighter like gold stuff from the Chamel sticker book, and I think that they combined pretty nicely there. And I did a little bit up there. Look at that fun paper trimmer. Love that. So that was fun. Just scrapbooked about our scrapbooking weekends. So that was fun. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet that I did for my Disney album, and this is where I used up a good portion of that sticker sheet from that Michael's Dollar Spot chipboard sticker sheet, and I used up almost the entire thing on this, and then just used some of the cut apart cards and did some kind of blocking with it all. So that was fun. Another layout for Disney album. This is where I kind of pulled in that bright green, which worked out perfect for Buzz Lightyear because he was green. And this was also a fun way to use up a lot of the kind of funky like word stickers, like words that I typically wouldn't use in a layout, like brilliant and marvelous and imagination's everything, remarkable, sensational, like stuff like that. I typically wouldn't use those. And so this just worked out because it's Buzz Lightyear, and that's fun. And then this wood veneer, happiness found, that was a perfect sentiment for this. There's lots of fun layering and lots of fun colors in this one, just to pull from the fun colors in the photo. This one's a completely different color scheme. I just pulled the tans and the mint greens and blacks. And I did pull this in from my stash, but I used this. This was just in a package by itself, so another package used up. And some of these white canvas cameras, which I have a ton of, so it was good to get some of those used. These were from the Chamel sticker sheet, and I love how it's like that rose pink. The photo itself has the mint green and the rose pink, and then the white doily really helped with like the wedding theme and the bow tie. So that had some perfect elements for a wedding photo, which happens to be my parents and my great grandparents. So that was fun. This one just kind of a little bit of a crazy mess, but this was one where I just wanted to use up a whole bunch of the cut apart sheets because I had so many of them. I think I had, I don't know, 6, maybe 8 different cut apart sheets from the different collections, and I used up almost all of them. So I was just documenting a restaurant that is near us that we're lucky to have because we live out in the boonies, and our favorite things to order from it. So there's that. And then this one was fun. I love the bright colors against the black and white, and just and then the pops of the craft and the cork, and just journaling about my dog, about how I love her face, but sometimes she's very naughty and can be challenging, but you know, aren't all pets, right? So just a fun layout about our puppy dog. This one here was a lot of fun. Definitely a different mix of colors for me, but it was fun to do. And I use this doily, which I think I pulled this from my stash. I don't think I had that in the kit. But then a lot more, again, more of the Michaels, Dollar Spot, chipboard stickers, and just a lot of the scraps of paper they made into banners. I had this, I don't know if you guys remember, this random black border strip that was just in my stash by itself. Got that used up. So lots of bits and pieces just that were randomly floating around my scrapbook room. I definitely got used up with these layouts. So there's that. And then this one is a set of 2 pages here. So I have the layout itself, and I used 2 of these Heidi Swapp wood veneer cards and this wood veneer frame. And this was just about a day trip to a fun place we have nearby called the Archway. And so I just did the layout here with kind of there's different sections that we did. So I did a photo from like kind of each section of the day. And then here I just did more of the detailed photos and intermixed. I just cut down pattern paper, scraps to 4x4, and then mixed in some different elements that fit along the theme of exploring and the different things that we were learning about that day. And this is front and back. Sorry for the glare. And then this is another one that has accompanying pages that are divided page protectors. So here's the main layout. And a few times a year we get a chance to observe our daughters in their dance classes because they normally keep the curtain shut. So we get to take photos during those days. And so this is one of my my oldest daughter's, like one of her first observations that I got to watch. So I took a ton of pictures, and now I sometimes don't even go because it's, sometimes it ruins the fun of the final performance if you see too much of the dance. But it's always fun to go on and watch them in their element. And so I just documented this particular day of dance. I used these Maggie Holmes, and I think I used all but one of those. And this wood veneer awesome. And this was like some of the cut apart sheets were 2 6x12, and I used one of those here for the vertical, and then went horizontal with the pattern paper and other elements. And then the accompanying pages are mostly photos, but I did fill in using some wood veneers, and I did finish up some Amy Tan Brads and some of the cut apart Project Life cards, Project Life type cards, and just to fill in those spots and decorate a little bit. Didn't do a whole lot there, just let the cards kind of fill in those empty spots. And then this one here, this is where I had like that random rub-on sheet that was really old, and it didn't work, which I didn't think it would. It was pretty old, but I did just rub off little bits and pieces of it, and it kind of created a neat effect, kind of splatter effect. And so I was able to use those up in a different way, but they're out of my stash now, which is nice. And I used, I think, almost all of these colored wood veneer cameras that I had gotten at Michael's, And again, more of the stickers from the Everyday Eclectic. I mixed in a wood veneer cloud with some wood cloud stickers just to give it some dimension. And that's how that one turned out. This one here is where I used another one of the 6x12 cut aparts. I centered it down the middle, and because the photo was so bright and colorful, I just took advantage and used a lot of the brighter, colorful, multicolored elements in the kit, and just pulled in all the yellows and the pinks and the blues that were in the photo, and that was a great chance to use up a lot of the colorful items. And then this one here is laid out by my mom and my youngest daughter, and I always love doing these layouts because, you know, she passed away recently, and so it's always kind of hard, but it's very meaningful to get some more of those photos scrapbooked of their relationship. And just did this diagonal here, which was from a sketch. I couldn't tell you where from, but I used washi tape because I didn't cut it very straight because I don't like measuring. And then just layered. I really like the multiple layers behind a photo look, and so I just did that, and then used a doily and some of the clips, and I did another little bit up here. And then this one has a completely different look to it. So this is where, you know, I'd pulled in some of the artsier papers, and then the Hobby Lobby pack that I had a lot more of a watercolory artsy look to some of the elements in that. Plus I also brought in some of the purple. And so I found this picture where my daughter was wearing purple, and it was a hilarious picture, and it's a good personality layout, we'll say. And so I thought the bold background and just the bold colors and some of the funny words and phrases just fit this photo really well in this story. And I just love this, "To thine own self be true," because she's reading a book on the toilet. So I just thought that was funny. And then just found some words that just really fit, like live out loud and smile, just because it's a funny photo, it's a funny story. But again, just pulled in lots of fun, bright colors because there was a lot of color in the photo. And I did use up this old American Crafts chipboard frame. I love this Capture Life because the pink matched her shorts, but it's a true Capture Life moment when you find your daughter on her toilet with a book. That was pretty funny. And then there's this one here where I kind of pulled some of the softer papers like this. I love this Arrow paper. It's probably one of my favorite papers ever, probably. And these photos were black and white, which worked out nicely. It really makes the paper stand out, but yet the photos stand out because they're that black and white stark, that stark look to them. And I just pulled in a lot of gold elements. I did some mixed media back here with a Chamel stencil, and this page is called Twirl Worthy Dress, and it was documenting about how my daughter wouldn't wear a dress unless it twirled. That was a pretty big deal. And it still kind of is, actually, in her world. So that was a fun story to tell and document. This one here is a monochromatic. I did this. It was actually, I know. The idea was from, I think, a class, but at the same time, it was also a challenge for Calvin Ball. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a monochromatic because I hadn't done one in a long time. And I did use this. I had pulled that 6x6 pad of, I think it was maybe, that wasn't burlap. It was like cork paper and then this textured paper, and so I split it in half and then used it just to give some texture to that and kind of white on white look. But then everything else is, with the exception of a white button there, is just different colors of pink. And this is a funny story because I had busted her basically eating the Oreos when she wasn't supposed to, and she was denying it, and of course it's all over her mouth. And so I just had to tell that story because that just made me laugh. That's, you know, another personality page from my youngest. I thought that was a pretty funny story to get told. This one here, this is, again, I love this paper, and I love just how the arrow, or, you know, it points downwards, and so it just kind of gives you a natural place to put the photo. And so I just documented my daughter's love for coloring, but also kind of more of a cultural thing. I journaled about how these Wonder markers were genius as a parent of toddlers. That was a genius invention to have colors that only color on the paper that they're supposed to. So I journaled about that a little bit, but that was a fun memory to get down. This one here was actually, this one was very product oriented because I wanted to use this really cute not enamel, this puffy giraffe from the Amy Tan sticker sheet that I had. And so I just looked through my photos. I found these photos of my daughters on this statue giraffe at the zoo and went with it. So I also used up I've had these two little green striped enamel dots for forever. And so I got those used up on here as well. This one here was definitely different for me. This was scrap lifted from Shamel's blog. She had a guest designer on her blog, and I can't think of her name, but her layout was very similar to this, except I think hers was craft based, I think. And we just basically took paper and then punched shapes and then made it its own little layer in the middle here and then just embellished. And I did some mixed media underneath it randomly. So it just kind of pops out from some of them, and then backed it with some paper and just used lots of different elements. There's stickers and hearts and wood veneers. And I use these, but I have a hard time. I tend to be a literal scrapper, but I made myself use these hot air balloons. And it actually really fit the theme of the layout. So, that worked out pretty well. Use some washi tape, doily, just lots of layering of some goodies. That one was really fun. It's always fun to do something different that you never would do on your own. Another very artsy one. So I had bought these tags and these tags from Hobby Lobby, and they're very watercolory artsy. So I put them into this kit. So I did add I added some feathers, these tags and these tags. So I probably added in 3 or 4 packages of embellishments to the kit even after I did the video, because I bought them at Hobby Lobby and I wanted to add in some new product. And so that just adds to the amount of stuff I got used up. But I love this. It says, "Away we go to Dreamland," and just did some fun layering of some wood veneer, lots of different textures. Wood veneer, I have doily. I have some more wood veneer there, some tags, some flat stickers, some twine. And then this one is I love the paper, first of all. It has these words in the back and these really thin stripes. They're really fun. But just layered. I use a lot of the cut apart cards on here, and then just layered some different stickers and some chipboard, and used one of the Dear Lizzie stickers, one of the cork bows, some of the craft Target stickers. And the last one is, again, using more of the Hobby Lobby stuff I got. I'd also bought these bows at Hobby Lobby too, so maybe that's in one more package, because I used, I think, all but 2 of those bows. And used a rub-on here from Amy Tan. And just a layout about how my daughter had fallen asleep with her hand in the Doritos bag, which just cracked me up. This girl fell asleep in the funniest ways. So I scrapbooked a lot about my youngest daughter falling asleep in weird positions or weird places, but it's all good. So, and it was perfect because it said dream, this card did. And so just kind of did some layering here and then some layering up here and just a little bit underneath there. I tried to pull in some of the different tones of blues and greens that were showing up in her dress that she was wearing that particular day. So there is that one. So that is it. I think I counted 22 layouts plus 3 divided page protectors that all were front and back filled. So I'd say it's pretty successful. I loved this process, especially when I took it down into smaller kits and incentivized myself to move on to the next pile by using up all the full paper, or not using up all the sheets, but by cutting into all the full sheets before I allowed myself to move on. But then you get a whole new set of products, a whole new set of papers, and that worked out really well. And that's in the video number 2 in regards to the kit number 2. So I think next up is, I think I'm going to work with kit number 1. And because it's October afternoon and has that kind of childhood vintage feel to it, I think I'm going to maybe pull out a bunch of my old childhood photos and scrapbook some of those. It's either that or the green and blue themed kit, which I can't remember what number it is for now for sure. That one I'm feeling like I want to, at some point here soon, scrapbook some heritage photos of my dad and my grandpas and great grandpas, and a lot of old male photos and males that I have history on. And I have been starting to think about getting some ancestry stuff documented. But I think for sure I'm probably going to do the October afternoon kit next, which is kit number 1. And I'm going to keep trucking away at these, and then I may take a break. I maybe make another kit somewhere in this process, but I'm just kind of going with it and what I feel like doing in the moment. So thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this process. I love how it's working, and I love how much old product I'm using and getting used up and out of my stash. So thanks again for watching, and happy scrapping. Bye-bye.